their figures up.
I could not agree with you more. And when I went to the fireworks at Central Milton Keynes the other week, I've never seen so many policemen. And did we need all those policemen?
Well, it's a jolly, isn't it?
Well, yes, let's go. Well, actually, I've got the duty. I can go and watch the fireworks.
Well, they're saying, aren't they? Saying that Milton Keynes...
They would argue crowd control.
Yeah.
But actually... it doesn't need much crowd control. It's it's the residents of Milton Keynes. It's not a football gang. There needs to be some policemen that of course there needs to be some policemen that can respond to an incident, and maybe that needs to be a reasonable number. But I couldn't believe just how many I've seen up there, and who was patrolling the high streets or the estates where a burglary might be going on. Yeah. So I don't know. I think working smarter, perhaps not having so many police in the centre of Milton Keynes would have been a good thing.
But it's also the response you get when you do phone up when you see an incident. As I said yesterday on the show yesterday, I saw what I was convinced was a burglary in progress in Bolbeck Park, and I rushed home and I rung the police, and they weren't at all interested. They said, "Well, we don't know where that is. Where is it exactly?" And I gave them the address, the postcode, and they said, "Oh, well, we'll see if we've got anybody available to go and have a look." And there was two guys, one in the garden, one in a van, and one on a street corner with a phone as a lookout. It couldn't be more obvious, I don't think.
Bob, what you should have done was just say, well, if you're not bothering Mr. Police Force, then I'm going in there, and you could almost guarantee I'm just going to go and get a pistol out of my bedside drawer, and I'm going round there. You would have guaranteed within a couple of minutes the police would have been there.
Yes. Exactly, and they would have been right outside your door, and arrested you.
Very true.
And then you'd have got arrested for wasted police time.
But haven't I heard or read somewhere that at Milton Keynes on some evenings there's only one or two policemen on duty? That's all they've got in manpower.
I can't comment.
Well, no, I'm just...
there are all sorts of rumours. There's and disinformation as always.
Yeah.
So trying to get down to what the real facts is, I suppose, you need some sort of freedom of information request to be able to actually get down to the real facts.
I think I'll do that.
Yeah? Well, you like doing freedom of information?
Yeah, I've done a few of those, I've done a few of those.
Do want to find out what the average number of policemen we have on the beat in Milton Keynes is at any given time?
Well, it's part of what I'm doing at the moment, is it, on this book I'm doing on Broker Britain, you see. I did one on the motorway bridges. The gantries they got, I think it's a little bit of overkill towards Luton. They put up, the first lot was 13 gantries, and I thought, well, this is overkill. Why do they need 13 gantries spaced up about every few hundred yards?
Yeah.
And they were costing then, this is about 3 years ago, £160,000 each without the signage. Now, to me, why do they need that? They said it's for traffic calming measures, and this was prior to opening the hard shoulders of fourth lane. But what a nonsense. I mean, now if you go down the M1 now, every few hundred yards there's a gantry with signs and speed cameras now, because my sat nav goes 10 to a dozen as you go down the M1 because they've got these hidden speed cameras. Where they never had them before.
Yes, but sorry.
It goes back to what we were discussing earlier. It's about control. I mean, they're now looking at putting on. Is it the M62 or the I can't remember now which one. They're proposing traffic lights on the motorway.
Are they?
Yes.
Are they?
Yeah.
And I think. Clearly that's not a. It has got to be a silly idea.
Yeah, well, they don't use warning signals properly, do they? How many times you go down the motorway and the warning signs are flashing? It's for an incident that happened 4 hours ago and it's all been cleared.
But it must, in all fairness to the agencies involved, it's a big job. There's a lot of transport, and it's going to go up because we're not moving towards public transport, we're moving towards private transport, and the big argument about pollution is disappearing because we're moving to electric cars.
Well, Tesla yesterday launched their electric truck, didn't they?
Yeah,
articulated truck. It can do 500 miles on a single charge.
I think that this is how long is a fish. I was told 600 miles.
Oh, really? 2 A2 batteries.
I mean, the thing is, it can't carry any loads, any payload, because it's all batteries,
Oh, well, that's the point, isn't it? Well, it's a battery lorry. It carries battery hens.
But actually, with the cost of diesel, I don't know. Have many lorry operators actually sort of given them pre-orders for it?
I would doubt that very much.
Oh, well, I would have thought...
it's only an experiment.
Eddie Bartz would have actually had an experimental one on board.
He moved a lot of his operation to Belgium, didn't he, because of the fact of diesel costs, because it was crippling them.
Yep.
Eddie Stobart,
yeah.
Yeah, no, I think. I mean, I've been looking at the Tesla car. It's just they're sports
nice.
car.
Yeah, lovely,
I mean, is it 0 to 100 in 2.5 seconds or something?
It was about 80,000 quid, isn't it?
It's pulling the same figures as a dragster. I mean, it's going to be. I absolutely guarantee that what's going to happen is there's going to be a requirement on electric cars to be governed down because the acceleration is phenomenal. One of the lads I work with, Jason. They've got one of these, it looks like a fairly standard sort of, family car. This BMW electric.
The little one.
Yeah,
that goes like a rocket.
I mean, it's got the acceleration of a Ferrari. It's unbelievable.
The size of a smart car costs 38 grand.
I mean, not 0 to 50. 0 to 40. It really is fast. After about 40 miles an hour, I think the Ferrari beats it. But but 0 to 40. So it is so nippy. It rooks your neck every time he puts his foot down.
Is it ever ready to use?
Yeah.
Do they still exist ever already?
No.
Yes,
they do. Yeah,
They do. I see.
And Duracell.
I've got to get this story out of my system. It's got to be the story of the week, isn't it? The apology from Japanese Railways after a train departed 20 seconds early. It's fantastic. I went on Japanese trains, unfortunately I didn't go on the Bullet. I didn't even see a Bullet. I went on the suburban railways, and they stop at exactly the right spot. The trains are spot you could probably eat off the floor on the trains, and they leave bang on the second. I mean, absolutely incredible. Bit like British Rail, really, or
so in Switzerland and things like that. The Swiss Railways is renowned for its time.
Yeah, of course. It should be Switzerland, watches and stuff.
It was British Snail, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, we're coming out with them this morning, aren't we?
I see the thing now that I wish I could have my life back again, because apparently...
Where's it gone?
British Rail drivers, I think it's the ASLEF lot, have now agreed a pay deal to get so that for a 4-day week they're on a basic minimum of £63,000 a year, and if they do overtime they can make it up to £75,000 a year.
Yeah, a bit like the tube drivers, isn't it?
Well, tube drivers, £60,000
basic for driving a tube train. I mean, and they don't have to press 2 buttons.
Yeah. Stop and go.
Yeah.
Oh, and doors open.
They got this, it's got this sensibility, of course, when you get jumpers in front of them. It can't be very pleasant, and I think most of them have experiences through their careers.
Oh no, they haven't.
I don't know.
The tube drivers drive millions of miles every single day, and you get a jumper every, I don't know, a couple of weeks or something. Although allegedly,
there's been four in the section of Bletchley in the last month.
Yes, that's right. But I mean, that's not the tube. So
Mike, can I go back to a little thing we were talking about earlier?
My tutu?
We'll have to go back.
No, your tutu. We'll come on to that subject later, I suspect. When we were talking about alcohol in France, and you were saying that the French teach their children how to drink, and
your children
well, I did a little bit of research, and because I thought that jarred a bit with me. I thought the French are just as bad, and actually it turns out they are.
What? Drunk?
Well, they've got a severe problem with they reckon the 50,000 premature deaths last year from alcohol in France. There's a variety of bits of information saying France in denial, because they're trying to sort of sweep under the carpet a little bit the alcohol problems they do have, and but they have just the same problem as us, and their other big health problem is women smokers.
Oh yeah,
it's got the highest proportion of women smokers, and the highest proportion of women that smoke through pregnancy. Yeah. So as much as often the French are held out as a something that we should aspire to in terms of alcohol control, I think they've got their own set of problems. I don't think it matters what country you're in the world. If you've got addictive people, it's not alcohol, it's the people.
Yeah, but I don't think they make an issue out of it elsewhere like we do here, do they? I don't know.
Well, the health minister is, and the health minister is saying that the country's in denial, and we really need to head on tackle these problems, which they're not doing as a country. So just sort of, we're not as bad as everybody, make out in those,
I'm just trying to think.
Just defending us a little bit.
Has anybody ever seen drunks on the French streets other than English?
Yes.
I'm trying to think if I have or not, really.
Yes,
Probably in
I have.
Paris or somewhere.
I have in Marseille.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I was in Marseille, and there's a fair amount of homeless and drunk people and people who are abusing alcohol down there. But so I think it doesn't matter what country it is. There's an issue that needs addressing, and I go back to it. I don't think 50 pence on the unit of alcohol is going to address it in any way, shape, or form. Just going to a tax on poor people.
Well, as Mike says, they're going to nick it, aren't they, or mug somebody to get the money to pay for it.
Or just spend,
I think that's going to be more the issue.
Poor families will spend a greater proportion of their money on alcohol and not feed their children.
Exactly right.
Well, interestingly enough, the ban on buy one get one free alcohol deals in supermarkets has been ruled out by ministers, despite the offers being blamed for violent crime and ill health. The decision is a blow to police chiefs and health campaigners who felt it would curb excessive drinking. A House of Lords committee had demanded action after warning alcohol bought from off licences and then consumed at home was fueling domestic abuse and crime and disorder in cities. This business of domestic abuse and all this sort of thing, it's very new, isn't it? It wasn't going on in the Victorian era or the era, the historical periods before then. There was no such thing as, I think in a way we're living in a fairly moderate sort of world now, because in the olden days, it was if you had the master of the house, he was dilly-dallying with the maids, and the mistress of the house was probably dilly-dallying with the butlers and all this sort of thing, and the butlers were dilly-dallying with the other butlers, and
it used to work like a lot of dilly-dally, mate.
You used to work in a certain stately home where there was a bit of dilly-dallying, didn't you?
Well, to be bored about it, the statistics.
Roger.
The percentage of inappropriate abuse type stuff going on per head of population, I think, has probably gone down. But we have a lot more people, so there's a lot more of it. But of course, things are a lot more open. So these things come to the surface. It's almost fashionable to talk about certain elements of human behaviour. We're on. Obesity is one. Then we go to sexuality, and then we're going to go to education. And we have these waves of things we're passionate about. And we love salaciousness, so anything salacious comes to the top. It sells newspapers.
It's the wheel of life, isn't it? Going round and round. It's coming back again now to the days of when we sent little boys up chimneys and
I think that was a good idea.
The workhouse and all that sort of thing.
Do you think that's a good idea?
No, you've got to send little girls up chimneys now.
You in short skirts? Yeah, I know. Come on, mate.
I was watching. Where was it? I was picking up a piece of information from somewhere. Information overload. I get information from everywhere. There was a videotape of a modern slave auction going on.
Yeah.
And,
Milton Keynes?
No, not in Milton Keynes.
It's not this one on the gypsy camp recently.
Well,
it's other site.
People were being sold for £300.
Yeah, £300.
Well,
for farm workers.
Yeah, well, in this country.
No.
Oh, well, you're saying this. We came back from Sri Lanka many years ago, and we were upgraded. Fortunately, well, we paid for that actually, and we were sitting next to a Sri Lankan girl who'd been bought. Obviously, she was going into slavery in Abu Dhabi. She got off at Abu Dhabi. They had the presence of mind to buy a business class ticket, but she couldn't use a knife and fork. She didn't know what it was for. And we had to show her how to eat. And this poor girl was obviously being bought by some Arabs somewhere, and she's going to be going into the slave trade, never to be seen again. I wouldn't doubt.
The big thing the other addition to this is that, as Alan says, there's more people, so I guess it's law of averages, isn't it? But also, it is you got media.
Yeah.
Things get reported now. Back in blooming 1880, did it get reported as much? It was certainly more localised.
Well, if they knew about
now,
it, probably
it is
wouldn't
globalised.
Well, this story broke on CNN, and the Libyan authorities are now saying, "Oh, we're going to investigate it. We're going to look at it." But it's happening in Libya. Libya isn't some jungle that human civilization hasn't touched for the last 10,000 years.
Well, that's a matter of opinion.
Libya has a sort of they have information. It's they know slavery is wrong, but they're allowing it as a nation to carry on.
Yeah, well, Qatar. You see, Qatar's been criticised guys. I've just read a book about the preparations for the World Cup, and most of the workers there are slaves, really. It's slave trade. They don't get paid. They go there on a promise of what they're going to get paid and how many hours they're going to work and all these features where they're going to live. And then when they get there, they don't get it.
Hang on, though, because you've got companies like Uber, who are doing exactly the same thing. And you're talking about a delivery driver.